Hello everyone, welcome to today's class, and our title today is Curse of the Colonel. Let's move on to language focus. 1번. Unfortunately, nobody could find him. Diverse search machinery was brought in, TV shows funded search teams, but it was all in vain. Okay, so as you can see, we are highlighting in vain. So we use in vain to express that an action did not have the desired result. So in vain, 뭐뭐은 뭐뭐 했으나 결국 헛되이 됐다 실패했다라는 뜻이다. Alright. So if I look at this first example sentence, I tried in vain to convince Mauricio not to quit. 나는 마우리시오가 포기하지 않도록 설득했지만 실패했다. Now, I don't know what context this is in. Maybe quit his job or just quit in something in general. But in this situation, we'll say that he 포기하다 in that situation. Or Tony worked hard to prepare for wrestling season, but it was all in vain. So 토니는 레슬링 시즌을 위해 열심히 준비했지만 결국 의미가 없었다. So basically this means that Tony prepared extremely hard for wrestling season, but he might have picked up an injury during training, so it was all for nothing basically. Alright, moving on to 2번 now. His glasses and left hand were missing, but all things considered, he was in pretty good shape. Okay, so I have highlighted all things considered. So use all things considered to express that all factors were taken into account when drawing a conclusion. So all things considered, 모든 것을 고려해 봤을 때. Alright. So an example is, all things considered, Ray's not a bad guy. He just has a bad sense of humor. So 모든 것을 고려해 봤을 때, Ray는 나쁜 사람 아니지만 아니라 그저 유머 감각이 없을 뿐이에요. So yeah, his humor is bad, but he's not a bad guy. Or, all things considered, life in a small town is quite pleasant. 모든 것을 고려해 봤을 때 소도시의 삶은 굉장히 좋다. So, all things considered, when you take everything into account, life in a small town is quite pleasant. I agree. Alright, now let's look at the language focus quiz. 1번. I tried in vain to warn about So remember, if we scroll back up to in vain to express that an action did not have the desired result. in vain은 뭐뭐 했으나 결국 헛되됐다 실패했다라는 뜻이다. So as an example, I tried to warn her about his manipulative ways. 나는 그녀에게 그의 조종하는 행동을 조심하라고 했는데 실패했다. Yes. So I failed even though I told her that he is a manipulative person. 2번. Worked hard to but it was all in vain. I worked hard to get a promotion, but it was all in vain. So 난 승진을 위해 노력했지만 결국 실패했다. So I worked very hard, but I didn't receive the promotion. 3번. All things considered would be a pretty interesting career. So remember, all things considered is to express that all factors were taken into account when drawing a conclusion. So what I meant was, all things considered, 모든 것을 고려해 봤을 때. So let's say being a doctor would be a pretty interesting career. 모든 것을 고려해 봤을 때 의사로서의 커리어는 꽤 흥미로울 것 같아. But if you're a doctor and you disagree with me, then I believe you. 4번, all things considered, is a good place to live. Let's keep it simple. 서울 is a good place to live. 모든 것을 고려해 봤을 때 서울은 살기 좋은 곳이다. Alright, now let's look at the further discussion. 1번. Why do you think baseball has become so popular in Korea and Japan? 야구는 왜 한국과 일본에서 인기가 많아졌다고 생각하세요? It's a quite hard question. I would guess, I don't know, I would guess that the Americans brought over the sport of baseball during maybe the Korean War. I don't know. Maybe the baseball in Korea dates back further than that. I'm not too sure. But obviously, baseball sort of originated in America, I think. And, well, that's where it was made most popular. And I don't know, Korea and Japan, obviously with Japan, I mean, what's his name? Shohei Ohtani? That guy is worth, what, $15 million or something like that, or much more. Korea and Japan have some pretty good players. I mean, you do see a lot of Korean and Japanese players go to the major leagues. So why has it become so popular? Domestically, it's become so popular because I think it's more than baseball itself. It's sort of an event. It's a day out. It's a time where you get to spend time with your family and friends, have a drink, have something to eat. Maybe that's the reason why it became so popular, but maybe history behind it is something to do with America. 2번. Do KFC restaurants in your country have a large statues of Colonel Sanders? Why do you think so many Japanese KFC outlets could have these? 당신 나라에 있는 KFC 식당들은 커널 샌더스 조각상이 크게 있나요? 일본 KFC 식당들은 왜 이런 조각상들이 있을까요? Okay, if we talk about this in Australian terms, no, not many. I don't think I saw many Colonel Sanders statues. However, in Australia, because I used to work there, I did see a lot of Ronald McDonald statues at McDonald's. Ronald McDonald is the clown, right, of the mascot of the McDonald's restaurant. I saw plenty of those. Why do I think KFC outlets have these? I don't know, because it looks fun. It's maybe an opportunity to take a picture with Colonel Sanders. Yeah, that's quite an interesting question as to why they do it. I don't know the history behind it. But yeah, in Korea, I don't think I see it very often. I think maybe, I can't even remember the last time I saw a Colonel Sanders statue, to be honest with you. But it's very much in my head of what one looks like. I've seen them before. Whether I've seen them in Korea, because in Korea, KFC isn't as popular because obviously we have all these other chicken food chains that are much more popular than KFC. I've only maybe seen 3 or 4 different KFC restaurants in Korea. And I can't even tell you, I can only tell you where one is, and that's Hongdae as soon as you get out of the exit. And everyone, that's like the waiting area for everybody. There's a KFC restaurant somewhere around my house because I've ordered KFC here, but I don't know where it is, to be honest with you. Anyway, that wraps it up for today's class, and I'll see you on the next class.
Pathologist.
Pathologist.
Prim and proper.
Prim and proper.
Brethren.
Brethren.
Give something a second thought.
Give something a second thought.
Corpse.
Corpse.
Learn one's lesson.
Learn one's lesson.